Each of you has been called here to harvest something. A new idea, perspective, possibility, a new friendship, more courage. And each of you has been called here to give something in return.
So we're ready to begin. I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Michelle Portier. And Michelle, also known as Michelle Speakz, the voice-activated Dismantler, comes to this stage with a mission forged from her own journey. She's here because too many women have mastered survival but missed healing. Today, the mask comes off, the truth stands up, and the warrior within you rises, whole, free, and unapologetically powerful. With her prophetic insight and transformational frameworks, Michelle will guide you to confront the silence, reclaim your voice, and walk in your true authority. Brace yourself. The warrior is awakening. Put your hands together. Yeah.
I declare Zechariah 2 verse 5 over you. You said, I will be a wall of fire around them, and the glory within them. So right now, Lord, surround them with your fire. Protect them with your presence. Let the enemy see that wall and know he cannot cross it. Let this song awaken the fire that's already inside them. They are not defenseless. They are not vulnerable. They are surrounded by the fire of the living God. In Jesus' name, wall of fire, roar!
So anyhow, I first want to thank Mozilla and her team for everything that they've done to create this space for you all today. So give them a round of applause. And thank you so much for the introduction. But I'm going to get right into it because many of us as women, we wear masks. So today we're going to be unmasking the warrior within so that you can walk in who God originally created you to be. Can you see beneath the mask? Do you see the pain that's concealed? Afraid to reveal how I truly feel. Day in, day out, I strive to appear strong, confident, and in control. But in reality, there is a war raging within my soul. So many times you look and only see the surface. But who will take the time to look beyond and see my true purpose? Who will take the time to caress my very essence and partake of the gift shared in my presence? I see the pain beneath the mask of others in the world today. How, you may ask? I see what once was reflected in me. Many are starving for that thing we all crave. Acceptance, love, and affection. And often the world offers exactly the opposite. Apathy, hate, and rejection. But there is a place where the mask can be removed. A place where you can be free. Are you brave enough, Jania, Pearl, Michelle, to unveil and allow others to see beneath the mask? Well, today is that day. But before I go on, I want you all to just take a moment and do something with me. At the sound of my voice, follow my instruction. I want you to take a deep breath, a big one. Hold it and release. And again, take a deep breath. Hold it and release. For many of you, that is the first intentional breath that you've taken all morning. Why? Because you've been carrying responsibilities and titles and relationships and ministries and businesses and families and dreams and burdens. And if you're truly honest with yourself, some of you have come in here exhausted. And I don't mean just a physical exhaustion. I mean a soul exhaustion. The kind of exhaustion that sleep cannot fix. The kind that comes from pouring out to others continually and nobody's pouring into you. The kind that comes for showing up for everyone else and wondering, who is going to show up for me? And before I go on, I want to ask you a couple of questions, and I want you to think about this while I'm up here before you today. Have you ever smiled when your heart was breaking? Have you ever shown up privately, publicly, for everyone else? And then silently you feel unseen, unheard, unloved, and undervalued. Have you ever been called strong when all you really wanted is permission to rest? Have you ever looked successful on the outside, head to toe, but on the inside you've become disconnected from yourself? And when you become disconnected from yourself, by default, you come disconnected from the Creator, from yourself, and by default, your friends, family, and loved ones. If you've related to any of those questions, then you're in the right room, the compass room. Because today we're not talking about the woman with the titles. We're not talking about the woman that everyone sees. We're talking about the woman beneath the accomplishments, beneath the expectations, beneath the performance. We're talking about the woman, Audra, beneath the mask. You know, one of the greatest misconceptions in this world today is that strong women don't struggle. And I'm preaching to the choir, but I'm here to tell you, strong women struggle every day. Every day. We've simply learned how to hide it, becoming masters at carrying, at producing, at leading, at helping, at fixing, and at surviving. But somewhere along the way, many of us lose sight of who we are beneath what we do. How many of you can relate to that? And the real crisis is not the burnout, it's not the stress, it's not even the exhaustion. And as it's been said earlier, it's about the identity. So who are you? Because when a woman forgets who she is, she begins looking for herself in places that she was never designed to be in. And I'm speaking to myself first. She looks for herself in achievements and in relationships and in performance and in validation and in titles and in the applause. And eventually she becomes so exhausted because she's trying to maintain a version of herself that she never was to begin with. She becomes a chameleon. And I know not even a little bit about that. I know a lot about that because I was trained that way in the military, growing up. And there was a season in my life when people looked at me and they saw strength. They saw leadership, which was true. They saw resilience, which was true. They saw capability. But what they didn't see was how tied to my identity that the strong one had become. That had become my identity. The one that was dependable. The one that was loyal. The one that was the helper. The one that was the fixer. The one that could do anything and make everything happen for everyone else. But I couldn't do it for myself. And then life happened and the narrative shifted. Somebody say, what happened? Right before I left the military, because again, in the military, the first thing, the main objective is to complete the mission. Not your family, not your emotional health, not your physical health. Complete the mission. Because when you join the military, you're not a person. You're a piece of government property. And so towards the end of my enlistment, my heart literally failed. I went from working out and running 5, 10, 15 miles a day to not being able to go up a flight of stairs without shortness of breath and without extreme chest pain. And I was bedridden for a year. For a year, I laid in a bed and I wasn't able to move like I want to. I wasn't able to produce like I wanted to. I wasn't able to perform the way that I wanted to. And all the things that I'd always done, I couldn't do. And it was in that moment that my Abba Father, my Creator, whispered to me. And I didn't even know him then. I had a head knowledge, but I didn't have a relationship. And he whispered these things to me. He said, Michelle. And I'm like, who are you when you can no longer perform? Who are you when the title is stripped away? Who are you when nobody is applauding? Who are you when all the things that you've attached to your identity are no longer available? Who are you? And I invite you to ask yourself those same questions. Who are you without all of that? Because it was then that I realized that I had spent so many years knowing what I did, but I not fully embracing not only who I was, but who I am and who I was becoming. And I was lost. But I'm going to tell you there's a difference between knowing who you were, knowing who you are, and knowing who you're becoming. Because purpose flows from identity. Identity does not flow from purpose. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Purpose flows from identity. Identity does not flow from purpose. You don't pursue purpose. You discover your purpose when you know who you are. Because when you know who you are, you can navigate any crisis, any mountain, any barrier, any trauma, any abuse. When you know who you are, you can navigate that. But when your identity is attached to what you do, every transition, every challenge, every circumstance, every situation becomes a crisis. And perhaps that's where many of you are struggling right now. I know I was. I'm up here speaking it, but there are still areas in my life that I'm struggling with. But I know this one thing, I will overcome it. And it's not because you lack ability. It's not because you lack intelligence. It's not even because you lack faith. It's because you've allowed your identity to become attached to a role that you were only meant to steward for a season. And that season turned into your identity. But I want you to know that you are more than the title, than the relationship, than the status, than the business, than the ministry, than even the success. And you are certainly more than any disappointment that you've encountered. Disappointments will come, but they pass. But the problem is, life has a way of handing us masks, and we use those masks to protect ourselves, we think. The mask of perfection, the mask of performance, the mask of control, and control is an illusion, the mask of people-pleasing, the mask of strength, and the mask of independence. We were not created to be independent. We were created to be interdependent. And at first, that mask is useful, it's comfortable, it's safe. But eventually, what protects you becomes your prison, because you're locked into that mask for so long that you forget who you are, apart from what you do or what role you play. And then what once served you begins defining you. And the problem is, the mask was never supposed to become your identity. It was only supposed to be or used as a coping mechanism. And just like grace, a coping mechanism has an expiration date. And that's where transformation can begin. And I say can, because it'll only begin when you stop and start asking yourselves these questions. When you stop asking, what do I need to do? And you start asking, who is God, my Creator, called me to be? Because becoming will always outdo performing and doing. The voice-activated dismantler, it came out of this one realization and revelation. That the event, the trauma, the abuse, the whatever it is you fill in the blank for whatever it is for you, that wasn't the barrier. It was the belief that was attached to the barrier, to the trauma, to the abuse, to the circumstance, to the situation. How many of you in here desire to be free? Every hand in here should have been raised. I'm up here speaking, and there's still areas that I need to be free in. And I'll fight until I am free. And for every woman that desires freedom, there's 3 things that you must walk through. These 3 things. So if you're taking notes, write them down. Number 1, first you have to identify the barrier. Not the circumstance. So not the trauma, not the abuse, not the whatever it is you fill in the blank, but the belief behind it. What have you come to believe about yourself that God never said? Where did you learn that your value was attached to performance? Where did you learn that being needed was the same as being loved? Self-love included. You don't have to perform to receive, because God gives it freely. Where did you learn that strength meant carrying everything alone? We were not created to be alone. We were created to be in community. The root word of community is commune. Because to sustain anything, you need community, you need accountability, and that will lead to sustainability. Because where you're weak, someone else is strong. Where you're blinded, they can see what you can't see. So who told you that you had to carry it alone in silence? Because silence breeds sickness. Number 2, you need to end the shame of silence. And you end the shame of silence by cleansing false belief systems. So how do you do that? By telling the truth. Telling the truth of where you're at. Not saying that you're in agreement of what happened or where you're at, but acknowledging the truth. And then you tell someone. You don't tell everyone, but you do tell someone, because you don't have to carry it alone. Because healing begins when hiding ends. Because if you hide it, you can't heal it. You just carry it in your body, in your relationships, in your business, in your social life, in your spiritual life. But the moment that the truth enters the room, the silence, the shame of the silence has to leave. And then the third thing is to restore your voice. And how do you do that? How do you restore your voice? And I don't mean your volume. I mean your voice. I mean your authority. I mean the fearfully and wonderfully made creation that you were made it to be. You do that by setting and sustaining healthy boundaries. Emotional boundaries. Mental boundaries. Physical boundaries. Financial boundaries. Sexual boundaries. Because I don't know about you, but if you've ever encountered trauma, sexual trauma, you've lost connection with your body because it was violated beyond your control. And as a survivor who has been violated from the age of 6 to the age of 32, boundaries are important to me. And if you cross it, we on fire. Okay. Why do you think I work out so much? But it's your ability to agree with the truth instead of fear. It's your ability to say yes to God when He says yes. It's your ability to say no when He says no, no matter who it is. Mother, father, sister, brother, husband, friend, family, dog. No. If God says no, it's no. Your ability to live from your identity in Him rather than your insecurity. Because healed women require different access. And I want you to hear me when I say this. Love is unconditional. Access is earned. Everybody doesn't have the right to have access to you. And again, I don't care who it is. The only person that has unrestricted access to me is the one that created me. Not my daughter, not my mother. I still respect them and honor them because that's what the words say. Honor your mother and father. But there's certain times that they don't have access to me, though they want it. Because the woman God is restoring cannot continue agreeing with what diminished her or what diminished you. You can't continue partnering with what wounded you, even if it's other women. I love women. I love seeing them thrive. I love seeing them be victorious. But one of the most painful betrayals that I've suffered has been from women. But you know what? I still love you. I still love them. Because they're speaking from their own hurt and pain that they haven't processed, or maybe they don't even realize that they're carrying. And I can see that. So I show them love because maybe they haven't experienced it. Because I didn't. All I experienced was a dysfunctional form of love, and I thought that was functional until I was shown otherwise. So before I leave you today, I want you to consider these 3 questions. If every title disappeared tomorrow, who would you be? If every accomplishment disappeared tomorrow, who would you be? If the applause disappeared tomorrow, who would you be? Because the answer to that question, that's where the freedom is. Not in what you do, but in who you are. And if you know who you are, you can stand unapologetically in your truth. You can stand before kings. You can stand before corporate. You can stand before people that you thought you would never be put in front of. How do I know that? There's a name. There is a plaque with my name on it in the state of Florida, Tallahassee State Capitol, because of the work that I've done in the community, helping women realize who they are, helping them to not find their identity in their trauma, but in who they were created to be. I was nominated and inducted into the Florida Department of Veterans Hall of Fame Society for work that I'd done, unbeknownst to me, until I got a call that I needed to go and stand before the governor. And I'm like, what have I done? Because I'm a rebel at heart for the righteous. So I'm like, Lord, what did I done? Did somebody find out? I'm scared, but I'm going. Because I'm gonna own what I did if it's for right. So my challenge to you is simple. Identify one mask. Identify one lie. And replace it with the truth. Then take one courageous step this week. And I'm going to grab your information. If you know me for any length of time, those that know me know me. Those that know me know that I'm a woman of my word. I'm going to follow up. You're probably going to try to block me. Like, this woman is texting me, emailing me, on my Facebook, on my social media. Block her. I want you to do one thing this week that aligns with who God says you are. Not what the fear said, not what the disappointment said, not what the past said, but who He says you are, your creator. Because transformation is a decision. So today, you get to decide. Will you continue performing? Or will you finally become? Will you continue surviving? Can you go to that slide with me on the mountain? I think it's the third one from the air. Or will you finally rise? And you guys don't know, but I am deathly afraid of heights. I face that fear every time I get a chance. Before you see that smile, I was crawling, I was crying, I was cursing, and yes, I cursed, Lord forgive me. He knows His daughter. But eventually I stood. So will you rise? Because there's a warrior within every single one of you in here in this room today. And you're not a warrior of your pain. You're a warrior of your purpose. So I want you to rise. Because your identity is not in what happened to you. Your identity is not in what they said about you. Your identity is not in what people have labeled you or what your culture has told you or tradition has told you. It's in who created you. The mask may have protected you, but now it's time to release it, to remove it. I want you to stand. Everything you desire begins with a word. Because your words create your world. And everything is voice activated. God spoke and the world was. Jesus, when He was tempted, said, "It is written, it is written, it is written." Your words have power. Your words have meaning. Your words shift atmosphere. Your words create environments. So repeat after me, and I don't want you to just mumble it, because if you do, I'm going to have you repeat it again. I want you to make some noise, because you're going to feel at the end of this how this room shifts. If you don't want to look at me, you can close your eyes. But repeat after me. I am worthy of love.
I am worthy of love.
I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
I express love openly.
I express love openly.
With no masks.
With no mask.
I am powerful beyond measure.
I am powerful beyond measure.
I am strong in mind, body, and spirit.
I am strong in mind, body, and spirit.
I'm grateful for my life.
I am grateful for my life.
I am content no matter what the day brings.
I am content no matter what the day brings.
I am equipped
I am equipped
to love
to love
the unlovable.
the unlovable.
I choose daily
I choose daily
to walk in forgiveness
to walk in forgiveness
of self
of self
and others.
and others.
I create environments.
I create environments.
I will not succumb to them.
I will not succumb to them.
I embrace my uniqueness.
I embrace my uniqueness.
I will not water it down.
I will not water it down.
And I will do one thing
And I will do one thing
daily
daily
that scares me.
that scares me.
It is written and it is finished. So from this day forward, be mindful of what you speak over yourself. Be mindful of what you allow others to speak into you. Be courageous and go build the thing that's within your heart. Go create the vision. Go create the center. Go create whatever it is that is in your heart to do. If you haven't seen it yet, it's because you haven't moved to do it yet. Do you feel the shift in here? Don't say it if you don't feel it. So in one word, what do you feel? Debbie. Looking at you. Dorothy, I'm sorry. Dorothy. Forgive me. TBI, forgive me. Amen. What are you feeling? Thank you. I want to thank you all so much for allowing yourself to be free.
Thank you, Michelle.